it is a better pathway to screwing up your kid as a general statistical matter by telling them that they can dress as a member of the opposite sex when they are 6 years old than telling them, you know what, why don't you not do that today and instead put on a pair of pants.
If that child knows that he's a boy and he goes to school, I'm not trying to be emotional, I promise. And like he understands that, and his parents are just like, yeah, just remember, you're a boy. I understand the whole bullying thing you were talking about, but wouldn't it confuse the child more if you say, hey, you can't do these things because these are specifically girl things, even though this child who's a boy and realizes he's a boy?
No, if I'll answer the question, then you can tell me whether I'm getting to your question. Okay. So my feeling is that as a parent, and a parent of young kids, that it is my job to educate my kids about life. It is not my job to let my children make autonomous decisions about which they know nothing, because kids are really stupid. And I say this as the father of two. I mean, when I say that my 4.5-year-old daughter is smart, I mean for a 4.5-year-old. I don't mean like overall. Because she just doesn't know enough about how the world works. And not only that, the reality is that cultures across time and space have differentiated between the dress of males and females. Now, there are folks who say, well, male dress in American society may look like female dress in some other societies. That's fine, but that's not how it is in the United States, meaning that we all sort of accept that there is a binary dress code, at least to a certain extent, in terms of how boys and girls dress. And if you want to confuse your child, then the best thing to do is take a 6-year-old kid and say to them, yeah, go ahead and wear a dress to school. And I don't feel like I'm discriminating against my 2.5-year-old son when I offer him another option or when I encourage him to take that other option. So for example, my 2.5-year-old son, he's got an older sister, and his older sister wears all sorts of frilly things, and they're very shiny and they're very sparkly. And so he's very fond of going into her closet and taking out her shoes and putting them on. Okay, and after him doing this for a little while, I said to him, no, you're not allowed to wear those shoes. Those are your sister's shoes. Those are girl things. This is not evil. This is not terrible. This is called being a parent. And when finally, after he did it a little bit, I said to him, why don't we, you know what? I'm going to take you out. We're going to get you new shoes. We went to the Cowboy Western store, and we got him boots. He will not take off his boots. The moral of the story is that kids like cool stuff, regardless of whether it is stereotyped male or female, and that it is not a terrible thing to reinforce certain cultural stereotypes that are going to make your kid happier, safer, and more comfortable. And confusing them about gender is not just let's say that you are the world's most open-minded parent. You say, listen, I don't want to be part of any of these dress stereotypes with regard to culture. Guess what? Your kid still lives in a world. Your kid still lives in a world full of other people who are trying to reinforce the fact that masculinity and femininity have different qualities, and those qualities and differences are beautiful. Okay? And so when we say to parents that you're doing something wrong, if you say to your 6-year-old that he can't wear a dress to school, all I'm thinking is, you don't get to tell me how to raise my kid, particularly when, I promise you, it is a better pathway to screwing up your kid as a general statistical matter by telling them that they can dress as a member of the opposite sex when they are 6 years old than telling them, you know what, why don't you not do that today and instead put on a pair of pants.